Boy, we got something for you here tonight on Super Tuesday night. We've got two picks for you here this evening. Combo pack with NBA and NHL Stanley Cup action. We'll get to those games in just a moment. I'm Bruce Marshall. First of all, though, couple of quick housekeeping reminders. As always, you can click on the screen there, that subscribe button, to make sure you get all of our WagerTalk TV videos just by clicking that subscribe button on your screen there. Also, we got a special deal going on right now, actually two of them. How about this? $100 off my 30-day all access pack. Plus, we'll add 10 days free on top of that. That's a $238 savings from the normal price. Good deal there. And how about the special World Cup deal we've got going all starting next month when the World Cup gets going in June? All of my plays, my all access World Cup pack, just $149. That's coming up in June. So, a couple of good offers for you there. But now let's talk about some games here on Tuesday night. And first of all, let's look in the NBA. And how about that game 5 tonight down in San Antonio, where the Spurs will be playing host to the Timberwolves. And as you can see from the crawl down at the bottom of the screen there, San Antonio about a 10.5-point favorite tonight, and total about 218.5. So what do we got going here in Game 5? Well, I think the biggest news for San Antonio came on Monday from the NBA office when word came down that Wemby was not going to be facing a suspension for Game 5. A lot of people thought he might be suspended for Game 5. That's after he was tossed out of Game 4 after being on the floor for just 12 minutes, threw that elbow right into the jaw of Naz Reid, ejection. And like I said, a lot of people thought that would keep Wemby out of Game 5 too. Well, it's not. That's good news for San Antonio. Why is it good news? Well, let's look at what he's done in the series. Already, the first 3 games of the series, he had 15 rebounds in each of the games. He had 12 blocks in one of the games. He had 39 points in another of the games. He just is very, very difficult for Minnesota to handle. Rudy Gobert has really got his hands full. Well, everybody's got their hands full with Wemby right now. So, and listen, Spurs backers can feel pretty aggrieved that he was only on the floor 12 minutes for the game on Sunday. That totally changed the complexion and the dynamics of Game 4. And even without Wemby, though, the Spurs didn't do badly. They led into the fourth quarter. They led deep into the fourth quarter before Ant Edwards got very hot late to pull the game out for Minnesota. The Spurs have won a game already in the postseason without Wemby in the first round at Portland. So his presence, they can win without him, but they're certainly better off with him. And I'm not sure Minnesota can keep pace. Now, I give the Timberwolves credit, though, for hanging around in this series and taking this thing even back to San Antonio, scrapping that game out, Wemby or no Wemby on Sunday. That was a pretty gutsy effort. And speaking of gutsy, I think that's how we have to describe what Ant Edwards is doing in this series. Remember, he was knocked out at the end of the Denver series with that knee injury. Dante DiVincenzo also out too, and he's done till later this year. But he wasn't expected to play in Game 1. He did show up. I think that kind of caught San Antonio off guard. And the T-Wolves stole Game 1 down in San Antonio. Did get boat raced in Game 2. But coming back home, I know that they managed to split. They were hoping they could win them both. But the split, the way it came out, and fighting back on Sunday, not too bad. And Edwards scoring 34 per game in the 2 at home. He has really kept Minnesota afloat in this series, but I think it's asking a lot of the T-Wolves to have Edwards continue to keep them in contention like this. In San Antonio, with Wemby back in lineup, back at home, I think advantage San Antonio in Game 5. I think they take control of this series on Tuesday night and end up wrapping this up in 6 later in the weekend. We end up getting that Oklahoma City San Antonio matchup for the West title that we've been looking forward to all season. Of course, the Thunder taking out the Lakers and ending that series on Monday night. What are we looking at here? I'm going to look at the Spurs minus the 10.5. I also might look over here. We're seeing more overs in the second round after the first round, sort of an under in the first round, more unders than overs in the first round. Second round, though, thus far, 10-6 to the over. That's about a 63% to the over, all across the second round of the playoffs. And in this series, 3-1 to the over. 218.5. totals up there a little bit. But I think they might go over as well. Spurs over for me in Game 5 Tuesday night in this series. Now, let's switch over. Let's go to the ice and let's go to T-Mobile Arena as the Stanley Cup playoffs really heating up in the Western Conference. We've got a Game 5 tonight between the Golden Knights and the Anaheim Ducks, who fought back in Game 4 at the Honda Center on Sunday with a 4-3 win. Very much in this series, 2 games apiece. They have won already at T-Mobile Arena earlier in this series. And frankly, for most of the games, I think they've been out skating the Golden Knights. Now, Game 3 was the problem for Anaheim. But if you look back that first period, I think that's sort of an outlier period. They got hit, sort of a flash knockdown early. The Ducks gave up a goal in the first minute to the Golden Knights, then a shorthanded goal later in the first period, then Mitch Marner scoring on the power play, 5 seconds left in the first period. That put Vegas up 3-0, and that prompted Joel Quenneville to yank Lucas Dostal in goal. Ville Husso worked the last 2 periods in Game 3, but Coach Q went back to Dostal in game 4, and it worked out pretty well. He was good enough that the Ducks never trailed, jumped out early. They certainly are providing a handful for Vegas. Like I said, they've been out skating them in some of these games. Jackson Lacombe, we saw what he did, slowing down Connor McDavid of Edmonton in the first round. Leo Carlson, Vegas is having trouble keeping up with him. One other note here on the Vegas side, Carter Hart now working his 11th, expected to work his 11th straight playoff game in goal. He's played every minute of all 10 playoff games in goal for Vegas. This is a guy who only played 18 games in the regular season. And those were his first games in the NHL in 2 years. So he had not had much work, and he's getting all the work from Torts now in the playoffs. And he looks a little shaky to me. He gave up a few soft goals in Game 4. And I'm not sure that he is, with Adin Hill, they're not going to Adin Hill and did have some injury problems late. I think there's some problems in goal here and some concerns for the Golden Knights, and maybe Dostal rates the edge there. So what do we got here in Game 5 on Tuesday night? I'm going to give the Ducks a look here, plus that price. You can see on the crawl at the bottom of it, about plus 125 tonight. I also think we might see an over here at 6.5 goals. We're seeing a plus 105 price there. Both these teams seem to be the pace of the series picked up a lot the last 2 games at the Honda Center, when it was a little bit slower the first 2 games at Vegas. And like I said, some of those goalie problems, both goalies had some problems in the games in Anaheim, but I think Carter Hart's problems might continue. I'm going to look over this game as well. So Ducks and over tonight for me in Game 5 of that series. Okay, remember, as always, if you got any comments, go down to the comment portion on the screen at the bottom there. Let me know what you're thinking. I'd love to hear from you. And also, as we stated right at the top, remember the special deals we got right now. $100 off my all-access pack, 30-day all-access pack. Plus, we'll give you 10 days free. That's a $238 savings from the normal price on that 30-day all-access pack. And don't forget, if you're a soccer fan, my World Cup all-access pack, just $149. Those picks start next month in June. So until later this week, that's a goodbye from me.